As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at NFLSundayTicket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
New Vitamin Water Zero Sugar Pineapple Passion Fruit is packed with vitamins. Just like the amount of peas we packed in that sentence. It's packed like your tote bag. The one you stole from your ex. Or your overpriced half-a-studio apartment. Or extra rushed rush hour traffic. Packed like your calendar. Triple booked at 5, of course. Grab a vitamin water. Did we mention it's packed with vitamins?
Welcome to the Sportsman's Voice podcast, your inside connection to outdoor legislation. From the Beltway to policy happening your way, we're covering it all. I'm your host, Fred Bird. Join us as we explore public land access, wildlife and fisheries management, Second Amendment rights, the triumphs that shape our nation, the sports we all love, and the stories that fuel our passion for the great outdoors. This is the Sportsman's Voice podcast. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another feature edition of the Sportsman's Voice podcast. This week, we're looking towards December, our NASC Summit, the 22nd annual NASC Sportsman-Legislator Summit, to be exact, occurring in Memphis, Tennessee, December 2025. It's coming up quick, so we wanted to, on the heels of our mid-year executive council meeting for NASC, bring on two of our co-hosts. This is the first time two states are joining forces to host the annual summit. Mississippi, Tennessee coming together, joining forces to put on a heck of a show. We're going to welcome in Representative Scott Bounds of Mississippi, Representative Jesse Chism of Tennessee. We're going to get into their motivations, their thoughts, what their hope and dreams are for the NASC Summit, why NASC is so important, and why you as legislators listening, or if you're not involved, should be, and even looking at those who are involved, taking up leader positions and filling out those benches, those co-chair benches. So I don't want to give the whole show away. We're going to welcome in Representative Bounds first, and we'll get to Representative Chism, all that and much, much more. Let's go. It's my pleasure to welcome in one of our NASC Executive Council members, co-chair Mississippi, Representative Scott Bounds out of the great state of Mississippi. Representative Bounds, thanks so much for joining us.
Fred, great to be with you today. Been looking forward to this.
We've got a really great program already, and then we continue to add to it that is going to be in Memphis, Tennessee this year for our NASC Legislator Summit. We are co-hosting two states, Mississippi and Tennessee. First of all, tell the audience where in Mississippi you're from, your district, who you represent, and then let us talk about this first time ever cooperative effort between two states for NASC.
Sure, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm from Philadelphia, Mississippi. Fred, Philadelphia is located in the east central part of the state of Mississippi. For those of you that may be a little bit familiar with some of the bigger cities in Philadelphia, in Mississippi. I'm sorry, I'm about 90 miles east of Jackson, and probably about 200 miles south of Memphis, where the 2025 NASC Summit will be held. My House district is House District 44, and in my district, and I know everybody's districts are different across the United States and legislatures, I represent about 25,000 people. We are a 122 member House, and I represent about 25,000 people, and I will be beginning my 23rd year in the Mississippi legislature in January of 26. So I've been very blessed by the people of House District 44, and hope I've done them a good job.
No doubt. Passionate outdoorsman, and so much so that, through your being a co-chair there, the Mississippi Legislative Sportsman's Caucus, allows you the opportunity to run for a position on the NASC Executive Council. Talk about your passions as an outdoorsman first, and then the importance of, taking your involvement in NASC as a co-chair to the next level, and really working with legislators across the country for planning and aligning strategy across the country.
Well, yeah. So first of all, it is an honor to serve on the NASC Executive Council. I am a passionate outdoorsman. We own land. Our family owns land here in part of Mississippi that we're in, and grew up hunting and fishing. We as we've gotten older, my brothers and I have gotten older. We've put more efforts and resources into managing our fisheries resource that we have on our property and our game opportunities that we have on our property. We're uh we don't have elk and all that, but we got good whitetail deer from Mississippi, and we've got good fishing in our lake on our property. So that's where, as I've gotten older, it's where I concentrate a lot of my hunting and fishing on, and managing of my property, and doing those things. But being on the NASC Executive Council, I mean, we are the voice that the Executive Council and the legislators in every state where they have a legislative sportsman's caucus. I mean, these legislators are the ones that they're the ones that watch out for hunting, fishing, trapping interest of their constituents, of their citizens. Here in Mississippi, we're really, really blessed that we have citizenry and constituents that are as passionate about hunting and fishing as I am, and they take it real serious. And it's a huge industry here in Mississippi, hunting and fishing and trapping. So being able to be a part of a policy, not only in the Mississippi legislature, but as a NASC executive council member, being able to be a part of the policy making process, or having input into the policy making process, especially with NASC and in Mississippi, it means a tremendous amount to me, because outdoor activities, hunting, fishing, trapping, that's our heritage. And we've got to be sure that we keep policies in place, not only at the state level, at our state levels, but at the national level too, that will allow for these things, hunting, fishing, and trapping, and outdoor activities, to go on, way beyond our years here. So,
When you discuss, or when you mention, working with legislators from across the country as an executive council member, kind of talk about the opportunities for alignment. When we talk about our priority policies at CSF, and we work with you all in NASC as leadership in your respective states. How does that relationship work? And you guys as EC members communicating to the other, legislative bodies in all 50 states about our priority policies, the ones that you guys decide you want to focus on for the coming sessions, and really want to push out there, and have people carry that banner.
well, yeah, and Fred, you're exactly right. So, in which, to me, your question brings us to the summit. And the NAS summit is when legislators from all 50 states. I'm proud to say now that we have legislative sportsmen's caucuses in all 50 states, and that's tremendous. I know that when Mississippi was chartered in 2006, our legislative sportsmen's caucus was chartered. It was probably less than 20 states across the country at that time. So not only is CSF and the staff, you included, have done a tremendous job in recruiting and going out and working in the state capitals across the country to have sportsmen's caucus or legislative caucuses signed up. It's been great. But in regard to your question, it brings us to the summit. So at our mid-year meetings at the executive council, y'all bring to us your policy ideas that are is on the agenda that y'all would like to discuss, and have very knowledgeable speakers on at the NAS summit. And then we, as legislators, Fred, we take these ideas back to our states. Some don't apply. Some of the stuff that we'll see in Memphis will not apply to Mississippi, but some of the stuff that we uh, see in Memphis will apply to Mississippi, but it may not apply to Idaho. But it brings everybody to the table. Uh, the idea is that in working with the executive council of NASC, working with the staff of CSF, and then bringing these ideas to the summit, it just it creates an opportunity for legislators that attend the summit to be up to date on issues that are impacting hunting, fishing, trapping across the state. And I have learned through my time as being a co-chair of the Mississippi Caucus and then on the NASC. I'm going to tell you, issues are so varied and broad across the country and in different regions of the country. And some of the things that may not be important to us are just the most important thing to somebody like, again, in Idaho. But to be able to bring those ideas and those thoughts and all of that to the table and have it presented in I'm not going to say an informal format, but a format to where it's just not stuffy and everything else. We're this is sportsmen that are here, and these are people that are passionate about the outdoor activities, hunting, fishing, and trapping. So uh, to be able to be on the front end of what CSL would like to uh, would like to push not only in the states but at the federal level and bring all that to the summit, I think is that's how good policy is made. It's discussed. It's discussed thoroughly, and then we act upon it. And hopefully we act in what is the best interest of the sportsmen across America.
Indeed, indeed. And you folks in the EC, like I said, we were together last week and we presented information, current state of affairs as far as our policy team and stuff we've engaged on already this year. And folks attending NASC are going to see all of that. They're going to get updated numbers, obviously, from our mid-year meeting. But to highlight a point here, working with you all and the other state leaders, our ability this year to bring forth priority policies and then have you all as leadership championing that and adopt some of these and put them forward, drop language in your different bodies and actually advance some of them has really allowed our team and you all to be proactive in such a way that it's kind of put folks who are anti to our community on their heels a bit and have to solve for our proactivity. And it's allowed us to start stacking wins in a good way of us and you initiating these issues and not always being on the defense.
Well, yeah, here again, you're exactly correct. Again, is in my years of service, and again in the Mississippi Legislative Sportsman's Caucus and on the EC, it's always very encouraging to see the victories that are won in the states across the country and in pro sportsman victories in the legislative halls of their capitals. Um, Again, I know some states are different than well, every state's different from its neighbor, but to have one unified voice of policy ideas that comes from CSF and then it's handed down as policy ideas to the states. I know last week you mentioned our EC meeting, mid-year meeting last week. I went back and looked at the some of the model legislation, and even though Mississippi is one of the you know most pro sportsman states in the country, there are things that I saw last week that we can do here in Mississippi that will uh, 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 further enhance the opportunities that our sportsmen have here. So, to for people to see this model legislation and see these things that again are important to the sportsmen across the country to at the summit for these legislators to be able to take that back and work it through their chambers and hopefully become law and become good pro sportsman policy, and it becomes NASC and CSL, Fred, I mean, we're not, yeah, we're pro sportsmen and all that, and we know that the forces of the antis, they're the antis. Some of them out there They don't want any hunting. They don't want any fishing. They don't want any trapping. We all realize, though, that is a integral part of game management, fisheries management, and things like that. And so, you know, say we keep them on their heels. I just think we gotta keep their feet to the fire, and we gotta let them know that sportsmen across the country aren't gonna lay down when it comes to our heritages.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Speaking of heritage, there in Mississippi, you've already alluded to it, the deep cultural connection and heritage to the sporting uh, activities, hunting, fishing, trapping, et al. You guys get to bring a little of that flavor and showcase Mississippi this year in Memphis. Again, as we talk about a two-state hosting collaborative effort here. What can attendees and folks listening kinda bring them through? What can we expect to see and showcase from Mississippi and make people aware of those deep-rooted cultural, heritage, that have gone back for so long?
Well, first of all, I hope we get to eat a good plate of fried catfish one night. That that'll be that'll be real good. So, uh, but no, yeah. Again, this is the first time ever, as you mentioned, states uh, jointly co-hosting the NASC Summit. As we began to discuss the uh, um, 2025 summit last year, uh, you know, sitting around the table with the EC members and with the staff, uh, talked about Mississippi and Tennessee, said, we'd like to do it, but how about us doing it jointly? I mean, we are right here together, and the opportunities that we're going to allow that will allow the sportsmen coming from across the country to participate in some of the things that we've got planned outside of the summit in December. Um, we thought that it would be a good thing to jointly host it, being right here together, and then our resources, what we're going to be doing, outdoor activities and things like that. So for those that will be attending, and we hope every state will bring. We hope we have 100% participation from the caucuses across the country. That would be great for us to have that. Um, but we want to showcase again what Tennessee has. We want to showcase what Mississippi has. You're going to see some of the best duck hunting. People will have some of the best duck hunting activities that will be seen anywhere in the country. Deer hunting, other outdoor activities, obviously, the Pyramid and Bass Pro in Memphis that we will be uh, spending some time at, and then of course Graceland Resort, where our lodging and conference facilities will be. We're pumped. We're pumped about what Memphis has got to show, Tennessee's got to show, and what Mississippi's got to show. And just want to encourage everybody. I mean, and we'll be reaching out as EC members on our what we call our call list, and reaching out to different legislators across the country between now and December, and encouraging them to, hey, come to the NAS Summit, come see what we've got in Tennessee, come see what we've got in Mississippi, but most important, come and hear about the issues that are important to you sportsmen back in your state.
One thing that is true and that remains consistent is post summit, you always hear people coming back that are first timers. I wish I'd started coming to this earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes them a
Right.
while to get there, but once they're there, they see what we've been talking about, the depth of knowledge and information that is presented in the sessions, the entertainment, the culture, the heritage, all that is brought forth from our host committees. And you just hear it. My colleague in the conservation space, your colleagues in the legislatures, every time, state agency folks, we wanna see them there just like we want representation from the legislative bodies. We would like to see state agency directors and their employees there as well, because this is we all work together, and that is one consistent truth. Everyone's happy that they've been and wish they started sooner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember me when I first attended the first one I attended, I just went as a caucus member from Mississippi. I was not on EC, obviously. I think it was in 2011, 2012. Really didn't know what to expect for it. I mean, I knew we knew what the caucus was about. We had achieved some legislative victories for sportsmen in Mississippi prior to that, but had not really got involved with the caucus. And the first one I attended was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and and I was exactly the way I went like, you know what? I will not miss another NASC summit because not just the camaraderie you have with everybody else, but it's what you bring back to your state. It's what you bring back to your legislative body again, for the interests of the sportsmen that are in your state. So, um, yeah, I mean, once people come, they're going to want to continue to come to the NAS Summit. And we always, and with my AC member, my colleagues on the AC and with the staff, we always want to have it in places if we can that, not only offers some good amenities as far as meeting and lodging and things like that, but a good opportunity for outdoor activities because that is what we're about. It is about the outdoor activities and those things that as sportsmen enjoy doing and are passionate about. And so if you come to the summit, you're gonna want to come back. So let's I just want to encourage everybody. Try to do it. Try to NASSummit.org. Very easy to go to that and find lodging information, register for the conference, and get an agenda. And it'll show you it's going to show you what we're about at the summit for those that have never attended.
For sure. And right now we are running a early bird special still. So those of you coming can take advantage of that, save a little coin. But yeah, that's the point to drive home. You need to come, you need
Sure.
to show up, and it'll change your thoughts and perspective on the summit itself for the first timers and those that are coming back know exactly what you're getting into. And our events team and our leadership in the EC aim to please and hope to put on a good show, and I think we do that consistently. So
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I want to give kudos to you and the rest of the staff and the people, those of you that work in your individual regions across the country, and keeping the AC abreast of what's going on across the country. But then also as we get to the summit, y'all, or y'all letting the summit attendees know what's going on across the country. And here again, we hear that. We hear that in breakout sessions for each region or for the regions, and so it's just a wealth of information that's really packed in a few days, but still you are able to receive a wealth of information in a setting that is hey, absolutely pro sportsman, and we just we need you to come. You need to come for the benefit of the sportsmen in your state.
well put, Representative Scott Bounds, Executive Council member for the NASC Network. Sir, we appreciate your leadership, and we will see you in Memphis, Tennessee in December.
Fred, I appreciate the opportunity, and again, I just want to ask everybody to clear your calendars December 9th through 12th in Memphis, Tennessee, for the annual NAS Summit, and hope to see a whole bunch of people there.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. All right, my thanks again to Representative Scott Bounds for his time. We tried to line it up to have Representative Bounds, Representative Jesse Chism on at the same time, but as these things happen with legislators, they get pulled in different directions. So couldn't do it at the same time, but real quick follow up. I'd like to welcome in from the great state of Tennessee, Representative Jesse Chism. Sir, good to see you. How are you?
Hey, it's good to be seen and not viewed, man. Just glad to be here with you.
Glad everyone got home safe from our mid-year meeting. It was great being able to spend time with all the EC members that were able to attend, and then glad we got to hang out.
Absolutely, yes, sir. It was a lot of fun, but we got a lot of good work done, and leading up to our summit this year, it was good to have that meeting so we can hammer out some more of the details so that we can have the best summit that we have ever had.
Yeah, and what's special about this one we covered with Representative Bounds, but I'll let you speak to it. This is the first time we are doing a joint state hosting, teaming up Tennessee and Mississippi coming together. Um, talk about that, and when that was proposed, and you're like Tennessee's got this. We'll jump in on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was an opportunity uh for a new state to come in and host the summit, and Mississippi, they had been thinking about doing it, and so as well as Tennessee, and but there was a question about capacity. Could did the representatives in each state have enough time to do it alone? So states of Mississippi and Tennessee, we decided we'll lock arms, join hands, and do this thing together. And so far, it's been such an honor to work with the legislators out of Mississippi. You know, Representative Bounds, he's been a jewel to work with, man. In the spirit of collaboration, our two states, we're so close to each other. My district is on the state line of Tennessee and Mississippi, so it kind of made sense to have both states collaborate on it.
Talk to the folks listening. What district do you represent? Where are you at in the state? And talk a little bit about your home.
Oh, absolutely. So, again, I'm Representative Jesse Chism, representing the 85th district of Tennessee, which is in Memphis. My district is pretty much the state line between Mississippi and Tennessee. So my district is right there on the line. Um, I sit on a lot of different committees. They change up every year. So this year I'm on finance and on calendar, and it's just an honor to do the work that we do, and also working with you guys in NASC is just an honor.
Yeah, no doubt. I think what's neat about you being on the EC and you representing the district that you do is that you bring a totally different vibe, perspective to the executive council, and quite frankly, a voice from an urban build-up community where so many of our members, our leadership co-chairs, they come from wild areas, more forested and fielded areas. The constituency they represent. Um, we had some good conversations here recently, but kind of talk about what that is and that you know the, the fact that just because people are living in built up areas, there's not a lack of interest for our community and what you're passionate
Man,
about.
absolutely. So again, my district is not rural, so there's a lot of it's not as wide open as some of our rural districts by me being in an urban district. But I was, you and I talked about it when we were at our EC meeting that during COVID we got a chance to see how quickly the stores can run out of food. We got
Mm.
a chance to see the devastation that happens by businesses being closed up. And, you know, it actually made a lot of people in urban centers, want to look towards getting out and seeing some of God's green earth and being able to go out and be able to harvest some of your own food and be able to, live off the land, if you will. So I think um, I think those times really did show a need, and it showed some things that hadn't been done in urban centers. Because again, you know, I live in a district where uh, you, there's a high density of people, and you know, with the whole movement of going outside that happened, it made a lot of people in my community want to go outside.
Mm. You used a term in one of our conversations, food desert. Not everyone is familiar with that. Can you elaborate on that a little bit and why that's significant?
Yeah, so food desert is an area, and usually in urban districts where you know um, good food or nutritious food is hard to find. I have spots in my district where a lot of people um they have a lot of corner stores, so they getting their food there, like potato chips and candy bars and
Mm.
popcorn and soft drinks. Which, for a little small amount of time, it may make you feel like you're full, but your body never got anything uh, to run off of. You never gassed up. So, um, so being able to go outside is very important for those people, just like they are for our rural districts.
You appreciate the ability to network, to be a leader in Tennessee as far as the Sportsman's Caucus goes there, representing Tennessee on the executive council. In doing so, you communicate and work with legislators across the country. We said earlier, there's 50 state legislative sportsmen's caucuses in all 50 states, which is tremendous. Um, when people come to the summit, and ideally all 50 states are represented, and you as an EC member have an opportunity to break bread and talk to these folks. Again, I keep coming back to your perspective. I think it's an interesting story to tell these other legislators that it's not a common theme you're going to hear, um, and waking them up to different constituencies and concerns or issues that are important to those folks in built up urban environments. And I think that is, I don't want to say it's outside the norm because it's not outside the norm. People are interested in what we do, but it's just not commonplace, if you will, and that those people need a voice and need someone to advocate on their behalf in the state houses and across the country. And you bring that to the executive council as well as in the conversations you're going to have and will and have had at the NASC summit.
Yeah. Well, you and I talked about it earlier, where I'm kind of what's the word? What's the word I used? I said a hybrid. Yeah, I said I'm kind of a hybrid where I grew up in an urban center, but also I had strong ties to my to my to my rural to my rural family. So I got a chance to hunt and fish and participate in the outdoors and do a lot of those things on a regular basis that a lot of people around me didn't get a chance to.
Mhm.
However, those numbers are a lot higher than what we've reported over the years. In urban districts, you'll be surprised how many people actually um actually hunt, fish, and uh, live off the land. You'll be surprised because when I grew up in the '80s, so in on Saturdays, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a lot of trucks leaving the city because I started out as a rabbit hunter
Mhm.
and I evolved to a deer hunter. I'm a recovering deer hunter right now, whitetail. Uh, you know, uh, I'm looking at my calendar every day. Like it's getting close to season. But yeah, man, so having a unique experience, um, in life has, is allowed me to be able to be in rooms with some of our other legislators and some of our other stakeholders to be able to have the conversations that some people even get surprised that they're having those conversations with me.
Mhm. Yeah, and you'd like to think that they shouldn't, but when in a rural environment, you're constantly seeing this stuff. It's commonplace in most places, but you don't see people setting traps in downtown Memphis or Memphis proper. You don't see people, waterfowl in the waterways of Memphis proper or in Memphis. Like it doesn't happen. Doesn't mean the interest isn't there, the participation isn't there. It might be a little logistically tougher, but people are out there. And again, I can come back to it that that model is represented all over the country in all these built up urban environments. And the NASC Summit offers legislators the opportunity to network, to sit down with folks like yourself on the EC and other co-chairs and other state legislators to have these, open forum, open dialogue conversations about issues that are of a concern to you in Memphis, and then juxtapose that with somebody in, I don't know, middle of nowhere, Montana. It offers the ability for collaboration to think critically about these things. Just because it's not affecting you in Montana doesn't mean there's not a need or a necessity to address some issue in another part of built up Montana, right? So I just think that that opportunity for exchange of great ideas and what policy priorities you have in Tennessee versus what a policy priority is in Maine are, I think that's what the advantage of the NAS network and coming to the summit is.
Absolutely. You hit the I couldn't have said that better myself. You hit the nail on the head with that one. Yeah, absolutely.
When you look at uh, the executive council, this is another level of your participation, your leadership as a co-chair for Legislative Sportsman's Caucus in Tennessee. Why was that important? What inspired you to run and take that leadership to a next level?
Well, I want to make sure that we had a fresh perspective on things. You
Mhm.
know, again, the r- even in the state of Tennessee, even more so than Democrat Republican, a lot of times there's a urban and rural divide. because the needs, some of the needs are different, but
Mhm.
also you find out that you have more in common than you have different. And I wanted to bring my different perspectives, but also bring my similar concerns and bring my similar um wants
So maybe
into the council. It, it's so important, from a food standpoint, from an economic standpoint, even from a mental standpoint,
Mm.
for what we do as far as conservation and keeping our habitats available for generations to come. Those things are important so that people um um people can continue to use this precious resource that we have, but also be able, it's therapy for a lot of people. It's therapy for me. And being able to do that, it touches on so many other seemingly unrelated issues that, you know, it's just um, it's a holistic thing, I believe. And I want to bring that uh, I want to bring that to the EC, and also, again, share a lot of those similarities that I have with the people who've been on there and people who are on there now.
Yeah, and you started alluding to it, and then I want to highlight it. The point you were going to is, you said Democrat, Republican, it doesn't really matter, and that is so true. That's so true about NASC. That's true about CSF, the CSC on the Hill, the Governor Sportsman's Caucus. These are nonpartisan organizations and work together for the betterment of everything you just espoused. Conservation, waterway, habitat, next generation being able to appreciate this stuff. That doesn't know DNRs, and I think and everything in between, I's and L's and whatever, right? The labels, uh, our work transcends the labels, right? I guess is what I'm trying to say, and
Yes.
that is on full display in the work that you do in the Legislative Sportsman's Caucus in Tennessee. That's on full display at NASC when we have the EC meetings. These things don't even come up. It's just we're all looking towards what is the priority policies we want to push forward, and we work in tandem between NASC EP and CSF staff, right? And we collaborate on that. Um, and then, all the ancillary stuff, the other concerns you mentioned you might have, that stuff kinda gets put to the side and we focus on what we all agree on, why we're all in a similar place. And then because those walls are broken down and those default mechanisms that, the media likes to spin and put out there, because those are down and we're all friendly, then you can start branching out to these other things and working on other issues that, our president of the EC, Jeff Wardlaw out of, Arkansas said so well, is that the ability to network and problem solve on other things comes directly from this association and the work that we're doing in the conservation space.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Being part of this EC, it allows me to be able to ask questions to people who come from a different environment than I do, so that I have a better view on what's going on in my own state.
Mm.
And those relationships are so important. And it's kind of funny. You know, on the EC, many of us don't even know what party the other is part of. We
Yeah,
just
it's not important.
know that you're a representative or a senator from this state and you do good work. And your ideas are, you know, eh, you've had great ideas during our meetings, and we're working forward, and we're moving forward. And it's just an amazing thing because it keeps partisanship from getting in the way of caring about people and caring about our earth and our environment as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. Um, as we wrap up here, and again, I thank you for your time. I let Representative Bounds talk about the greatness that is Mississippi and the rich cultural heritage and the outdoors that Mississippi is going to bring to this summit. But same thing in Tennessee, rich, deep hunting and fishing routes and trapping routes there in Tennessee. What's the flavor? What are we gonna see in Memphis? What can we pull the curtain back a little bit, give our friends and colleagues a sneak peek of what all Tennessee is gonna bring to the summit in December?
Man, thank you for throwing me that fastball. So, Tennessee, we bring the Mississippi River over there in Memphis. We have some really great wetlands here, so it's prime for duck hunting. Uh, We'll be in West Tennessee, so while people are there, I'm going to look for a deer hunt that we can go on, see if we can get us some white-tailed deer in there. And
Yeah.
we have so many things. Our waterways, um, are are full of, um, you know, that they're they're full. Let me just stop there and say that they are full, and you're gonna enjoy the people. Matter of fact, we're gonna be in Memphis, so by being in Memphis, I get to expose some to the blues.
Yeah. All right.
We're gonna be staying at the Elvis Presley house over there on Elvis Presley. So those who are Elvis fans, they can go by there and see uh
Cool.
a lot of the attractions there. Um, we're gonna be close to everything. So we're gonna be close to downtown. We're gonna be close to the Mississippi River. We're gonna be close to so many good things, and I'm just overjoyed um, that you all are we're gonna be in Memphis because
It's exciting.
it's gonna be a good time.
Bass Pro Pyramid, Ducks Unlimited Pyramid right there. We're gonna take a walk over there and check that out and maybe have a reception there. Uh, Ducks Unlimited coming in as a big sponsor and supporting the program as well, and surely makes a whole lot of sense there and good partners of CSF. So yeah, we're excited to check it out. Place I've never been, and if you go to NASCSummit.com, you can get a little picture there on the postcard, the digital postcard that's there. Take a look at downtown, the river, the bridge, the pyramid, all of it. And we get to look forward to hanging out and doing this all here in a very short amount of time.
Absolutely. Well, let me warn everybody that when you get to Memphis and you get there and you come to our summit, you may not want to leave. So yeah, let me set the warning out right there because you're gonna really love the people. You're gonna really love what you see in Memphis. I'm excited.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, correction on what I just said, nassummit.org, nassummit.org. Go there, register. And obviously, as Representative Bound said, and I know you echo this, we're looking for representation from all 50 states. We've got 50 legislative sportsmen's caucuses. We should be seeing at least one, if not two, from every state, as well as state agency partners, directors, and some of their employees coming, because this is, again, all of us work together during session on one way or another. We're connecting the dots, and what an opportunity to all sit in some of these breakouts and some of these big sessions and over dinners, and just have these conversations and work towards a very productive 2026 session. What is last fastball for you? What can we expect for weather in December in Memphis?
Well, usually in December in Memphis, the weather it can get cold, but usually it's pretty mild. So yeah,
Mhm.
bring your jackets. Make sure you layer up. Yeah, I put it like that. Make sure you dress in layers because it could be cold and we could have 60 degrees. So we'll have to see.
Very good. Well, if we find ourselves in the whitetail woods, I'm rooting for very cold.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right, there he is, Representative Jesse Chism from Memphis, Tennessee, Executive Council member for the National Assembly Sportsmen's Caucuses Network, and our host committee uh, co-host. And we thank you for your leadership, sir, and looking forward to seeing you here real shortly in Memphis.
Man, absolutely. I look forward to seeing you and I look forward to seeing everybody so we can fellowship and continue to drive forward good things that are happening in conservation.
Heck yeah! Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
All right, you too.
All right, my thanks again, Representative Scott Bounds, Representative Jesse Chisholm. A lot to say there. Try not to be redundant here in this out, but I guess the key takeaway is there's so much upside. If you're a legislator listening, to being part of the NASC network, to joining your legislative sportsman's caucus in your state. And again, I'm going to hit it again. All 50 states have one. You need only ask. You can contact us. We'll get you set up with the leadership, or you can just go to congressionalsportsman.org, find your state, see who the leadership is, and contact them and get involved. You don't have to be a diehard whitetail hunter or a turkey hunter or ground fishing for grouper and stuff like that. Even if you've never got a line wet or shot a gun and you have an interest, a general interest, and know that this policy affects your constituents, you have a reason to be involved. You have a reason to come to the table, sit and listen and try to, you know, get educated on these issues, why your constituents are emailing you and giving you phone calls about things you may not have ever considered. That is huge upside of being part of this NASC network, and even more so by joining us annually at the NASC Legislative Summit. You heard both gentlemen talk about the ability to sit down, have conversations, talk about what's important in their state, what's important in your states, and then, you know, the thought exchange, the idea exchange is so important, uh, holistically for the space, but also in just maybe you didn't know this was an issue, and perhaps it is occurring in your state. You just didn't know enough to ask or hear about it. Makes you, you know, far better equipped, more arrows in your quiver, to use a cliche, when you go back home. But I will tell you, and that was not hyperbole. Every time we get done with one of these, especially with the first timers, I can't believe I took so long to get here. I'm never missing another NASC again. That's not Again, it's not hyperbole. It is the absolute truth. We have alumni to NASC, that return and come, and they're done being legislators. They just love it so much and are so involved still that they come and support the efforts, the event, and it's something they look forward to every year, and you can too. Again, the website, nascsummit.org. Go there, register, get everything done one fell swoop. Um, Early bird special going on, so save yourself a couple bucks on the registration fee. Makes all the sense in the world to go there right after you're done listening to this podcast, or if you've done listening to me, now go there. You do, if you are coming, I will say, the outdoor activities, they tend to fill up pretty quick. So another reason to register early, besides the cost savings. But here, I'll rip them off to you here. This is all public information. So right now, and I say right now because there's still an opportunity to add stuff. You heard Representative Chism trying to find some whitetail woods for folks to enjoy, but we got a duck hunt, quail hunt. There's a trapping activity, a clay shoot. We're gonna have a hands-on taxidermy demonstration. I think your folks are gonna be able to actually like do something taxidermy wise, take something home. And then there's a VIP Graceland tour. These will fill up and they'll fill up fast. So space is limited. You want to, when you sign up, you want to pick your activity and make sure you're able to enjoy with some other folks. So again, nascsummit.org. And if you get lost, you can always head to congressionalsportsman.org and we'll help you out. We always appreciate everyone tuning into these shows. Feature every 2 weeks. The roundup, the news roundup every Wednesday. We're going to do that again next Wednesday. No feature. Obviously, we're doing that every other week. I invite you, if you breeze through this one, go back and listen to some other ones. A lot of stuff that's still very relevant. Our Q3 policy update. There's some 75th Sport Fish Restoration Anniversary recognition. Good show on that from a couple of shows ago. And you just go back to the catalog. There's a lot of good stuff on there, especially if you're in the policy space and you're trying to learn. This show does serve as a perpetual teacher, resource, if you will. As long as the internet is a thing, this stuff lives out there in perpetuity, and you're welcome to it to learn more and again put more arrows in your quivers. We'll leave it there. Hunting season's here, folks. We are in it. We are in it. So be safe afield, shoot straight, all of it. Make safe choices. Get home safe to your families, your cat, your dog, whoever you got in your life. You want to get you home safe and get back out there the next day. Um, we're in it. I can't believe how fast it came this year. So in the same respect, it'll be over. We'll be in December and it'll almost be wrapped up. So enjoy it while it's here and be safe out there. As always, CSF is your inside connection to outdoor legislation. We will see you in 2 weeks for a new feature. See you Wednesday for the roundup. So long. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Sportsman's Voice podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, your support is crucial, and you can help us out right now by leaving a review, filling in those 5 stars where available, sharing this episode with friends and family, and engaging with us socially. CSF can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Together, we can protect the outdoor sports we love and continue to keep you informed wherever you are. That's it for this week. Until next time, we'll see you later.